Hi, this is Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart, and today is Friday, August 17th, 2018. It's about 9:43 right now, and so the markets have been trading for almost 15 minutes. I wanted to wait until things opened up to do this video. And what this will be is a very quick hodgepodge of trading ideas. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, none of these will be our official trade ideas. Most of these are trade ideas I've recently thrown out in the trading room and or possibly on the front page. This is a new one. I wanted to start here. I found this one last night going through the charts. JT, Jianpu Technology. Never even heard of it, but nice looking chart. It hasn't been trading that long. Usually I like to see a longer term history for stocks. This is, by the way, if I don't make mention here as I go through the charts, time frame is right up here. So it's a 60-minute chart. And as you can see, we had a pretty well-defined downtrend line, which it's just broken out of. Positive divergence, which I like to see. And here are your potential price targets. These are the actual resistance levels unadjusted for an optimal fill. I'd have to say right now at this point in time, I'd favor that 530 level is a final target. But I list multiple targets. You can decide if assuming that the trade fits meshes with your trading style, uh, you decide where to go. But that would be a first reaction there around that 488 level and move up to 530, possibly beyond, but that's where I'll be looking to book profits around 530. And looking at the daily chart here, so it looks like this one started trading last November. And so again, not a lot of trading history, but what stands out on the daily time frame? Again, we were just looking at the 60-minute chart a minute ago. Is this well? You have the same downtrend line. There's nothing different here, but you can see some bullish candlesticks here. You had this potential hammer right there, green hammer, that candlestick, that doji that takes that form of a hammer, and then a big follow-up green candle. So that is what we call a potential reversal pattern, a bottoming pattern, and so far we have followed through the upside. So that's JT, and you can also see the PPO for the first time in a while is on any more upside, it's poised to make a bullish crossover. The stock's also coming off deeply oversold levels. Um, you want to, some people will use this as a confirmation or maybe even a standalone buy and sell signal. I just use it as additional confirmation for the trade. There's a bearish crossover up here or somewhere around there, and that's when the stock topped. And so now you have a potential bullish crossover. So that's JT. That setup actually reminds me of one that member Joe Friday posted in the trading room yesterday. He posted BILI, and this is a daily chart here. You probably sure I could add a trend line on there. Yeah, there's a trend line. I have it on a 60-minute chart as well, but you can see also another potential hammer right there, follow through green stick, but this one hasn't broken out, at least not by my trend line, the way I have it drawn here. This is a trend line I like to use right here. I've had, replicated this chart similar to his one after he posted it yesterday, and waiting to see a breakout there. In fact, I have a price alert set, bullish divergence, and these would be my targets on that one, BILI. And of course, you can direct any questions to Joe Friday as well. He may be in that trade. Okay, moving on. Yesterday, I posted several charts on crude futures as a potential long trade, starting with this one that was in the morning around actually about an hour and a half before the market opened, crude futures. So I prefer the futures because a lot of the moves that you get in crude do happen, after the regular session. But again, if you're trading USO, you can trade these. You just have to wait till either the market opens at 9:30 or exit in pre-market. So what happened? I was eyeing this at 66.25 as a minimum target, although the level says 66.26 there. We're talking a penny. Um, and that was yesterday morning, and so far so good. Let me see if I can pull up a chart here. There's the chart, so you can see, boom, right up to that level. We hit it earlier this morning, and we've been consolidating there. So there's a reaction. We had a little minor pullback so far, but I still think this one has traction. Now, would I take it right now if I wasn't in it? No, probably not, because Trading 101 says you don't buy a stock at resistance. You wait for a breakout above resistance. But for those of you that did take it yesterday, and I know some did mention that in the trading room, those divergences have solidly been confirmed. And what I'm referring to here, you've probably seen me cover this chart quite a bit lately. Crude has just been an excellent trading vehicle for a while now. These divergent highs and lows, we had a last divergent low was right there. And don't underestimate the moves in crude right here. It's only 66, or crude futures, $66. Um, So it takes a little more than half a point to move up a percent, and you can see these are pretty good moves. So there's a lot of volatility there. This is what a swing trader, an active trader, day traders, or short-term swing traders, can just sit here and cherry pick, wait for these setups, wait for these divergent highs and divergent lows, divergent highs, divergent lows, or sell signals come on trendline breaks, and sometimes you can go on low on a divergent low. This one, like I said yesterday, there was a little support here. Daily chart's not looking so hot, so I'm not married to this one. I am giving it a little more. I'm going to trail stops up and shoot for, depending on what happens today, I'll probably take it into next week. I'll probably take it home and maybe shoot for this target right up here, about 66.55. But I'm still longer term or intermediate term bearish on crude. This is just my near term outlook. Um, and you can see also, I've been intermediate term bearish since the highs, and you can see the trend has been down. This is the bigger picture in crude. The trend is clearly in a downtrend right now. And another one I mentioned recently, yesterday, possibly the day before, is Bitcoin. I'm not, crazy about it, but it's certainly setting up bullish here. We had a divergent low, positive divergence at the low. Had a heck of a correction off the top. It broke out and back tested that downtrend line. So far, so good. So you really want to see it take out this previous high, and these are all potential price targets there. That's Bitcoin. I'm not so crazy about the charts of Riot and Overstock right now. Overstock's pulled back to support. I just had that chart up a minute ago. Let's see. There's Overstock. There's some support on these previous three reaction lows. Let's punch through that level so I can add let's pull that line up a little bit. Coming up on that previous reaction low where we had divergence. A lot of downward velocity right now, so this one's probably going to, very good chance it's going to undercut that low. And if it does, we'd still have divergence. So there's a potential reversal play if we just extend this divergence line, undercut that previous low slightly. We'll have some pretty big divergence on the daily chart, and that may set up a swing trade, possibly to the top of this range. It'd be a pretty good move if we get it. The stock is $30. Again, I use log scaling. Don't underestimate these moves. That's 64% or 65% if we get up there. This is what it looks like if you don't use log scaling on a stock that's moved so much. You get a distortion, especially back here on the longer term charts. So I prefer to use log scaling on any price any stock with a pretty big price range on the chart. In other words, a range on this chart, at least the scaling I have is from 12 to 120. The stock range from about 85 down to about 14, but that's still a big move. And log scaling will put everything in percentage terms and equalize the candles in percentage gains and losses or moves. So whereas arithmetic or linear scaling does not do that. And here's Tesla. This is the chart I posted back on Thursday of last week, the 9th. And Tesla just put in a divergent high. And again, and I'm surprised it's taken this long for this to play out. I was, immediately upon hearing Musk's tweet and everything that I've read after, I followed it closely. I would be really surprised if he doesn't face criminal charges. To me, that was blatant stock manipulation. And as you guys probably know, the SEC has opened a probe. In fact, they already had a probe open, on him, pretty much him, the company, and him making the statements on all the, no problem, we'll meet all the Model 3 production quotas, which were insane. That one's a little harder to prove, but there is already a probe open on that. So anyways, bottom line is Tesla's a mess. The company was already burning cash like crazy, and now you have a CEO who's he's a brilliant guy when it comes to, vision of cars, the space programs, everything else. But I hate to say it, he's a fool when it comes to things like this. He's very rash and made a silly mistake, and he's done so before. He just kind of reminds me of the way Trump is with his tweets. So, anyways, that one's going to get him in trouble, and it's going to get the company in trouble. He's tried to distance himself from the company with the whole going private thing, but a little too late, in my opinion. So, I think the company is also going to face some pretty stiff fines. And again, if nothing else, it takes away from the credibility. The company can't afford that right now. So this was my chart. I'm looking, back then we put in a divergent high, or we had potential divergence you can see down here, I'm calling for at least a 22% drop, and that's at least. I think we can easily get more off this high, quite possibly. That last drop there off that previous divergent high was 32%. Let's look at the chart now. Let's see here, Tesla, there it is. So the divergent high, the stock is already down off the divergent high. It's fallen about 20%. So, it's been a great short. I'm going to keep pressing this one. I have no desire to cover. It's just now. In fact, we've just now confirmed those negative divergences. So I think there's more downside to come. And, at this point in time, depends. I'll watch the 60-minute charts, but I don't intend on covering anything before 271 right now, that 271.73ish area, and quite possibly down here 244.35, and maybe more. We'll see. We'll see what happens. There's a trend line here, a longer-term trend line, and this stock could head a lot lower. Okay, as I was doing the video, I had a price alert. You may have saw me just click through that one. I had a price alert triggered on PPC. Pilgrim's Pride. This is another packaged food, like the SAFM official trade, which triggered a long entry yesterday. This is in that same industry, packaged foods, and it looks like a bottoming play to me. There's your divergence. I didn't even have the chart. I have hundreds, literally hundreds of stocks on a watch list right now. All the charts aren't marked up, but I did, I go through these quickly. I'll set a trend line, and that's where I got the alert. You can see we're just starting to pop there. I'll take a look at it. I'll check volume and other things, but that one certainly has potential if you're interested, especially any more upside, any more follow through. Look for increasing, expanding volume today. You want to see that stock, it's up about 1% right now, just barely taking the trend line out. And there's a minimum target, 1931. The stock's at 1828. And that wouldn't be bad. That's about a 6% pop if you get it. And again, that's a minimum target. This looks like a potential bottoming play to me. So there it is. Next target will be 2060. And we'll see. We'll go for that. I can't at this point in time. I'll study this chart a little further, but just eyeballing this, I think potentially a move up here to about 23.21, and that'd be a pretty nice move if we get there. So if you took it here, and we do get up to that 23, 21-ish level, you're talking about a 25% or so gain. And I continue to like gold. I know it's just been hammered lately, and I don't like it just because it's been beat down. I like because the case I'm making for reversal in the dollar here, it's firming up. I pointed out a few days ago this bullish falling wedge on the euro US dollar pair on the 60-minute time frame, which we're on right now. That divergent low has now been confirmed, so we can delete that. It is a divergent low, and we had a breakout. Yesterday, I highlighted that we broke out, pulled back, and back tested this support. I said I'd like to see that hold. So far, it has, and we've taken out that previous high, that reaction high. So looking good up here to route with a 114, 314 area or so. Little reaction there to be expected, but ultimately this wedge can certainly play out for some more. And even then, you can just trade a bounce trade on gold. Let's pull up a chart of gold real quick. Okay, let's look at the futures. This is what I posted in the trading room yesterday. This gold futures symbol GC, and at the time we were right here. I said, I was looking at this downtrend line, saying a break of that downtrend line could trigger a long entry in gold. And we had a couple tests of it yesterday, rejected, and then went on and we broke out, back tested. So far, successful back test. So now at this point, the levels you want to watch are this 1188.25 right there. A couple reactions there, especially about 3 reactions yesterday. So break above that could be the catalyst for a pop up here at about 1198.87. We'll call that 1199 or so, so almost 1200. And then if we can get some traction, and I do believe it will happen over time, we come back up and backtest. This is a key level right here. This was a pretty significant support level in gold. That's where the waterfall sell-off started when that level was broken. So now that will be, or should be, formidable resistance when backtested from below, and that's up around 1213. So those are your potential swing targets. Nothing to say we can't get more if the longer-term case for a trend reversal in the dollar that I made does pan out. We could get certainly more, but you can trade this right now. I'm just looking at a oversold bounce trade, and that's GC gold futures. I'm sure I'll get the question for those that don't trade futures, where is gold going? It's hard for me to tell. Gold is one of the, you know, most popularly traded instruments around the world. It trades around the clock. And unlike, the U.S. markets, which we do, our futures trade around the world, around the clock, but gold is popular in every country. So what I'm getting at here is the futures will tell you. We were just looking at the futures chart. Tells you a much better story. You can see all the trades, whereas gold GLD, if you're trading ETF, they're choppy. There's these blind spots. You don't know what happened there. We know the gap. We know there was a movement up or down, so it's harder to trade. I mean, if this was a stock, I would say, oh yeah, these are all gaps, and you could certainly target those gap levels. But again, the point I'm trying to make is, even if you're not trading gold futures, I think it makes sense to align your, use both charts, look at support and resistance levels and trend lines and things that you might not pick up on GLD, but that stand out pretty clear on gold futures, symbol GC. And again, I put together a video a couple months back on configuring the charts for investing.com. They have free charts, free real-time quotes on futures contracts, all types, commodities, precious metals, indexes, and if you watch the video, it tells you how to go in there and look at a clean chart like this. I've configured it where I don't get any pop-up ads. I think you can even subscribe to them if you want and get rid of the ads. But if you go through the steps I showed you in the video, maximize these charts, save templates, you do not get any pop-ups, and it's a pretty slick charting platform. I have several others that give me real-time futures quotes, but I do like this one for certain reasons. So again, it has to do with the functionality of the charting program. I guess that's about it. I went over PPC, which just is trying to break out today, and this is SAFM, which broke out again yesterday. I posted that in the trading room right after it broke out, and then got a post out on the front page. Nice impulsive candle right there. Volume wasn't super high, but it wasn't unusually low. It was on the higher end of volume for compared to recent sessions. So it certainly met the criteria, especially with an impulsive green candle and follow through today. And again, that's an active trade. As always, when you want to get the notes on an active trade, simply go up here to trade ideas, hover over to the category you want. If you're looking at active swing trades like SFM, for example, then you'll hover, that's a long, so you hover and then click on active trades long. You'll go to the active trade long, you'll get a tag cloud like this, and then you click on the symbol here, and then what that'll do is pull up all associated posts to that related on that ticker symbol, but only for the current trade. In other words, if I were to have Apple as a trade, an official trade right now, you can go to the ticker tag underneath and click Apple, or go on the post by ticker drop-down box on the home page. I'll show you that in a second, and pull up dozens and dozens and dozens of posts of Apple going back chronologically. However, if it was an active trade and you click that way, you're only going to get the posts related to this trade. So usually in the initial post, you have the trade parameters, the targets, price targets, suggested stops, all that good stuff, and then you'll see any updates made to the trade. And again, you can also click on the symbol tags down here below. That will also pull up anything related to this particular stock. And there it was. You can see it was an unofficial trade first in this long swing trade idea video. All right, let's wrap it up here, guys. There's a few trade ideas, and there's certainly some more out there. A lot on my cheat sheet here, my watch list. So anything else I see, if it stands out, I'll put it on as an official trade. But if not, that should be enough right now to give you guys some things to look at today and heading into next week. This has been Randy Finney with Right Side of the Chart. Hope you enjoyed it.